let's go to like the bar or whatever. And I thought they're always nice to Americans. But I was really brown when I was younger. So we would go to the club.
Me too. Oh my goodness, look who we got. A guest. Little Miss Jacob. Welcome to the party. How are you doing? So this was the last Friday, the episode of the Culture War with Tim Pool, Corey DeAngelis, and Christopher Stewart. We're on to talk about school choice. And unfortunately, a lot of more of the same of just the leftist BS of, nothing. Do you have any base thoughts on school choice? Anything like that?
Choice, as in...
I definitely know that.
Okay. What do you mean?
So they're generally, they're not actually talking too much about the policy itself, but just the reasons why you would want to be able to have school choice, meaning that you're not necessarily stuck to being going to the school that is in your neighborhood or your whatever. And so, if you live in a crappy area, then you could get a voucher for this or whatever. And so we're about to jump into this conversation about insane books pushing CRT.
What's your opinion about it, by the way? I know I jumped in late. I'm sure you already covered it, but what's like the TLDR, I guess?
The TLDR is there is no good argument against school choice. They're talking, they were talking about, the trans stuff and how they're pushing all of this. And the guy's saying that, it's not good that CPS or that rather that it's good that teachers are having secrets with their students and all that stuff. Okay. And just going down the list of what's going on in schools that it's like, hey, can we just have an option? And Corey, the whiter guy in the blue shirt, was saying that, just like it's not like Obamacare. If you like your public school, you can keep it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Loving the skates there.
Oh, thanks. I haven't used them yet, but I used to be a figure skater. So one of these days.
Oh, really?
I'm not a rollerblader, but I feel like it's similar. So.
Well, he's an inline skater, so he's getting all nerdy here.
Nice.
There you go. Are they?
I will say really quickly. I don't know if you saw that thing about the kid that got suspended for for asking the teacher if the report was supposed to be on aliens or illegal aliens. And
I did not see that.
Okay, so I guess he got suspended for 3 days because he was saying that the teacher, it was like an English teacher, and she was like, okay, the assignment's going to be on the word alien. And he was like,
what kind?
Alien like in space or alien like you need a green card? And
it's a good question. It's a good question.
It's like a stupid, funny, 16-year-old joke. But this is the problem, is that the teacher then gets him suspended and then brings in the Mexican kid. And he's like, were you offended? And of course, if the Mexican doesn't like the white kid, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I was so offended, right? I mean, I don't know if he did or didn't, but this is why we're raising cry bullies and feigning victimhood people, because and it was so funny because I'm reading the article. I'm like, I don't know why this rings a bell. And I'm like, oh yeah, I used to get called an illegal alien all the time because I'm Mexican. I mean, I turned out just fine. Nobody got punished. If we're raising these poor little baby snowflakes, how are they going to survive in the real world? And then, what happens is that they say, oh, you see that the teacher, that guy that makes fun of me in school, which by the way, everybody got bullied in school.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm also saying it happened. The kid that's being a little bit of a bully, or he didn't actually say it straight to the Mexican kid. He just said it to the teacher to be probably a smart ass. But I'm saying that kid, if he gets suspended and then it looks on his, college
record
that he's a racist. I mean,
does this go on my permanent record?
That's really bad. And I think so then the kids feigning victimhood, they're going to be like, haha, I know how to really
Got 'em.
destroy your life, and they're going to do that. So
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, about how much power you're giving to other students. And we already know that, that's a time when you don't necessarily understand the gravitas of your actions.
Right.
And you could ruin somebody else's life, not even meaning to do that. I didn't even think of that.
Yep, that's how it's happening. Well, I know that because I know somebody that has a kid that said he was getting bullied, and then finally he said something, and it was a little bit of a, let's say, stereotype. And so he got in trouble for said stereotype, but then all the other kids were like, oh yeah, he said something about me being Hawaiian, and he said something about me being this. And the person whose kid it was like, he said the one thing, but then the kids dogpiled because they're like, oh, this is so. Anyway, I just thought that was funny about high school stuff.
That ties directly in with what we're talking about in the sense that there are a million different reasons why you might want to go to a different school. And that's one of them. And so we have the...
you're absolutely right, but they have to move now in order to get to the different school district. Yeah, that's wrong too.
So the guy up in the top corner here is very much for school choice. This guy is against it. Has not given a reason why.
Really?
Tim seems to be more with school choice, but again, they're more talking about what's going on in the schools, why somebody would want to switch schools. And again, this one is insane books pushing CRT are illegal under the Civil Rights Act.
Oh, of course.
The Sandus made is, you don't need the Stop Woke Act to stop books like this because this book is already illegal under the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
That's illegal. That's illegal. That's illegal.
You literally cannot accuse white or any other race of being inherently wrong, bad, evil, demonic, devilish, or whatever.
This thing, I'm trying to read what this says. It says, contract binding you to whiteness. You get stolen land, stolen riches, special favors. Whiteness gets to mess endlessly with the lives of your friends, neighbors, loved ones, and all fellow humans of color for the purpose of profit. Your soul, sign below. Oh, and so this one has a special favors, meaning land, riches, and favors may be revoked at any time for any reason. That's whiteness.
Wow. That's really racist.
So we showed this to Marianne Williamson. She nearly cried.
Marianne Wilson.
She's ran for president a couple times. She's a big author.
The crystal lady?
Minnesota?
The crystals?
Well, they call her, but she has no crystals. She's never had crystals, but they do call her the crystal lady because they're
Did I make that up?
So Marianne Williamson is like the self-help progressive. She was running in 2020, and the media attacked her as a crystal lady. It's much like Trump says low energy, much like he says Lion Ted. Crystal lady was a way to associate her character and poison the well. But poor Marianne Williamson, she's like, I don't own any crystals. I don't understand why they're saying this about me. So she's a progressive.
Somehow I just picked it up. I don't know.
The media ran the story.
I think it's a book. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, yes, indeed. Very racist. Very racist.
Let me turn on my light a little bit.
Yeah.
She's a progressive. She's currently still running.
There we go.
I believe. I don't know. She dropped out, then came back. She came on the show and she said, banning these books is wrong. And I said, how about this one? And she looked at it. She looked confused. She had never seen it before. And she was on the verge of tears because this is from a book called Not My Idea, which we had a woman named Asra Nomani come on. Do you know?
Asra, Parents Defending Education, which she's now somewhere else. So.
She brought a stack of books, which were so shockingly racist, saying things like black people could not succeed. I don't know why they would tell kids this.
What book was that?
I don't remember specifically. They had...
now he's going to be like, well, if you don't have the actual book name, that didn't happen.
They don't say, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. They say things like, it will be harder for you to succeed because you are black, and you will be stopped and held back. And
that's true.
Oh my God, bro.
Who is this guy? What's his deal?
He seems to be a professional activist. Guns Cafe didn't California being, I think there was something like that where, it was going the other direction. But yeah, this idea of to think that, okay, because there are experiences that are different for black people versus other people, that we should inject the hyper awareness of that into kids before they even have a chance to experience life at all. And his only response, well, it's true. It's also true that, people rape and murder and leave somebody's mangled body in the woods. Do we need to be telling children about that?
Right.
I'm with you. I'm 169. I am with you. Gontek says, as the warrior poet Vegeta once said, pretty sure that's an anime thing, right? Something I'm gonna do it in an anime voice. Something I said offend you? How weak must you be to be injured by something so minuscule as words? I feel like I could be a voice actor. I feel like that was good.
You have a good voice thing going on.
Thank you. But yeah, absolutely, lots of different factors. And nope, it's just about race. If you're black, you're gonna have a hard life, and if you're white, it's gonna be you get the whiteness contract, and you're good.
That's a good deal.
Because nobody told the folks at the southern border that people of color can't succeed in the United States.
I'll probably get roasted for saying this, but I also know that like if you go to school in an area that's primarily minorities, the white kids get bullied. I mean, it just is what it is. I don't know.
And that reminds me, we recently did a stream where there was somebody who did a really good edit of their first time watching American History X.
It's about decent, hardworking Americans falling through the cracks.
And I've always loved that movie. There's so much messaging in that. But obviously I'm not super good at editing and obviously can't just play a movie. I meant to do a movie night one day in the Discord, but I found that video. So I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And so we just went over it. And the one line when are you familiar with the movie? And
no.
It's basically it's with Edward Norton, where he's the Nazi guy. Some of it's in black and white.
I think I did see it a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, the Curb Stomp movie.
Okay.
Everybody knows it from the Curb Stomp. But he's in jail, and he,
Cool.
he's some super racist dude, and he has to work with a black guy. And I don't remember the exact context of the scene, but he's like, and here,
You the nigga, not me.
and it's just like, whoa, okay, I didn't think of it like that. It's like, yeah, dude.
I lived in Mexico City when I was like 2, but when we used to go back and visit, my cousins would be like, hey, let's go to like the bar or whatever. And I thought they're always nice to Americans. But I was really brown when I was younger. So we would go to the club.
I said, shit, me too.
We would go to the club and they like wouldn't let me. They like,
yeah, it's going to be a no.
My cousin was like, never mind. Like, we'll just go in the front because she had blue eyes. And she's like, actually, it'll work better if we go to the front. I'm like, why? Because I'm too brown. They're like discriminating against me. She's like, kind of, yeah. But that's just how it is. You have to just, it's okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, it like, do you want to be around that kind of stuff? I don't know. Like all the time, do you want to have the choice too?
Right. Yeah. Just before you hopped on, I was talking about how like, being short is, I'm only 5'4", and for a guy that's super short. And like, I can't even imagine people, short guys coming together and be like, we need more rights. We need that. Like, get over it. Oh, yeah. Just insane. All right, let's dive back in here.
In order for you to succeed because you are black, and you will be stopped and held back. And
that's true.
Stupid. But look, whatever.
That's not telling black kids that they can't succeed. That's black parents actually parenting black kids in the United States.
No, that is you not understanding that a child has a different level of ability to understand concepts than you do. You may be able to understand that as a black man in America, you're going to do this, that, and whatever.
Yeah.
A child does not need that. At least not to the degree that we can guarantee that he's shoved in his children's face.
And we should be the ones that determine whether or not our message is right for them.
I don't think that should be allowed in schools.
And should the schools be doing it though? Should
I don't
parents be doing it?
I don't think somebody else should decide that.
I don't
for
think
me, so.
I don't think. Well, it's illegal under the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Just
Part of the way that
teeth.
it's illegal, but I don't think that The Hate You Give as a book should be pulled from the bookshelf because one white woman doesn't like that type of material in the school.
I don't believe
that's racist.
That we should be allowed to
Wait.
present books.
Yes.
The Hate You Give by Angie something rather.
The Hate You Give.
Wait.
Hate You Give.
Oh my goodness.
Becky, look at her butt.
Is this the book they're talking about?
I don't know.
It is.
Is that what
Didn't he just say the guy?
I don't think that The Hate You Give as a book should be pulled from the
Oh yeah. So I'm that was a movie that came up. I'm not familiar.
Okay,
Can you give us a
this
little
is so
TLDR?
crazy. I literally just had this girl over. I haven't edited the video. She wrote this book. It's called Handbook for Mortals.
Okay.
And she, in 2017, put out the book, and she had all these pre-sales for the book. And because her and the guy that was making it into a movie, the guy from American Pie, her and the guy had done all these pre-sales, going to like Comic Cons and Wizard Worlds, and they were basically taking pictures of the fans, and then she was selling the pre-sales of the book. And now, in order to get qualified to make the New York Times bestseller list, the books have to go through a bookstore. So what happened is they ordered the books that had actually been bought. So the only way that you can get in trouble with the New York Times is if you buy your own books in bulk and then say these are, purchased.
Actual sales, yeah.
Yeah, because they supposedly do it through a whole thing. Anyway, she knocked Angie Thomas's book off of the #1 spot in young adult, and she was canceled. And she's the only author ever to be taken off the New York Times bestseller list, like deleted.
I'm the only guy who ever did that.
And it made national news. She said there was like almost 800 articles written about it.
What?
She can't get a loan to this day because people call her a scammer. And usually if they think that you fudged your numbers, they just put like a little dagger next to your name. It looks just like a little cross in the New York Times bestseller list. Her name is Lani Sarem. And it's just wild because she hasn't recovered from this thing. And it was all because somebody said, you're a racist because you cheated your way to the #1 spot and you took off Angie, that book that they're talking about.
Wow. So shout out to her. Shout out to her for taking down the CRT.
Well, and she was, but they canceled a white Jewish girl over something she didn't even do. She was like, well, first of all, I didn't cheat. I did sell, but they didn't ask her questions or whatever. But the big thing is that book, she goes, why is it in young adult? It's about a 12-year-old girl and her black friend gets shot by a white cop. And that's why is that in a young adult fantasy, or you know what I mean? Why is that in a young adult? It's a fictional book about really violent things.
What was the actual reasoning that they gave to pull her from the list?
Do I need a reason?
I don't know. She said that they didn't even call her. They didn't do anything. She said that at first for 10 minutes, they switched her. They put her as #2. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they just deleted her completely. And I guess it was because Twitter trolls were like competitors, friends of Angie Thomas. And they were like, oh, we're going to make this into a thing and make it look like she lied. But she's like, first of all, I didn't lie. But even if I had, why didn't I get the little dagger? Oh, because it was all about cancel culture and Black Lives Matter and this kind of stuff, which
a game we all hate.
She said that book has been on there for a long, long time, but it's a lot of politics because, the woman that went on Joe Rogan's show, she's an author. She also will not be listed on the New York Times bestseller list. Do you know what I'm talking about? The woman that
not specifically, but
she talks about the ID stuff that you were talking about the kids transitioning or whatever, and they won't list it.
But that ties into, just like it was this guy saying, oh, well, that's Hollywood and whatever. And when Christian was here telling me, well, Twitter's not real life. And okay, to an extent, yes. But that stuff actually does have real world effects.
Well, and the person that she said started the whole thing, he's like has 2,000 followers. It's like, how does this little Twitter troll, but the little baby Twitter troll, yeah, that's who it is, Abigail Schreier. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Shout out to the chat. Interesting.
Identity politics, though, all of this stuff, and somebody just says that you're. It's again feigning victimhood. I got taken off the New York Times bestseller list because of it.
Yeah,
tiny violin.
Exactly. Yeah. So so yes, while the online is not real life, kind of it is though.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of it is though. All right.
Part of the way that you frame it can make it illegal, but I don't think that the hate you give as a book should be pulled from the bookshelf because one white woman doesn't like that type of material in the school district.
I don't believe that we should be allowed to present books that disparage positively or negatively discriminate against races.
And I don't think that should lead white people to pull black books off the shelves that they disagree with and take it away from my kid to even be able
She's
to.
trying to get her life back. And, these people, that's what, there's never, what is it called? It's never a victimless crime, these things. You don't even know who's it's affecting, right? Like these activists go on and they say that that they are defending these victims who are like, I guess, faceless victims. Is it Angie Thomas is the victim or the kids are the victim because they don't get to read Angie Thomas's book? Or I don't know who, the guy in the black shirt is defending, but there are real victims from the opposite side. You get what I'm saying? And those people rarely get their day in front of a platform, or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And this guy, the same guy that we're talking about, he was earlier talking about how in his neighborhood we were talking about the trans stuff. He's like, well, in my neighborhood we don't see that, and in my school it's like, okay, well, great for you, bro. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just like you do this, and it's like, oh, the world's perfect. The world's perfect. It's like it don't work like that, bro. It don't work like that.
From a public school, that you can have it in
a public library, which is different from
a school curriculum where they're giving it to kids.
They took off the biography of Ruby Bridges. There's a white woman in Florida who
but nobody agrees with that.
Who has done people do agree.
No, I'm saying in the principal argument, agree with it. You can isolate bad things we don't like, and you bring that up, and we'll say, agreed, that was bad. Now, as for the calling white people devils, that should not be allowed.
So you think this is more important as a problem?
Oh my God!
AP Black history being rewritten, but AP European history being left alone, just the way that it is right now.
Where was the guys? Did anybody have a timestamp on when Tim was saying that? Because if we could pull that up back to back, I would really like to see. Oh, he didn't. I gotcha. All right, my bad. Just making shit up. So what you're saying is.
No, are you talking about Tim or the other guy?
The other guy. He's just, he's saying, well, because AP Black history was done, then, other books are like, what? We're not talking about that, dude.
Right. Oh yeah. He doesn't have a point there.
Yeah. It's just a need to bring up something that will bring the conversation back to territory where he can be the victim, talk about how, something that in his realm that he's comfortable with.
Welcome to my underground lair.
Because when we get onto the grounds of, okay, should you be able to choose where your children go to school? The answer is overwhelmingly yes. At least it seems that way from, I don't have kids. So again, I always like to, I don't have kids. So parents might know better.
The funny thing about that is I went to high school, or I went to like a junior high, and it had just been built. And so when we went to that junior high, like some of my friends went to like one high school and the other ones went to like another place. And because of where the districts were divided or whatever. And I ended up having to go to the one where the least of my junior high friends went. And my parents, like, basically, because I was complaining about it the whole time, figured out how to kind of, basically finagle it so I could go. And ultimately, by the time that I was able to switch, I had already made friends at the other school. And then I switched to the new school and everybody had already made friends. And so I felt ostracized my freshman year.
I used to eat lunch in the bathroom stall.
My sophomore year, again, I didn't feel like I fit in. I was like, why didn't I just freaking stay? Like, now that I had new friends. So, I guess to the other side of the argument is that your kids will survive. I mean, it's going to be maybe uncomfortable, but that's like I didn't have any like serious problems.
Right.
There might be something else that's, you might just like be seriously bullied, or, it's like those kids where nowadays they leak their Snapchat messages, or just, maybe
so glad that shit wasn't around when I was in high school.
Oh, it would have been terrible. I'm sure that they make exceptions for those types of things, but if they make it that hard, by the time you do finagle it, if you can even do so, then it's like, what did you really do? But I think that they're probably, I'm guessing they're talking about more, I don't know, I guess it was a diverse neighborhood where I grew up, but not like in the hood.
Yeah. Well, I think they're talking more systemically in terms of like, if how well is the curriculum being followed? Are the teachers actually there to care? And like you were saying, the way that the districts are split up. Is your neighbor going to a school where it's just like amazing, and you're going to a shitty school that nobody cares about anything
because of the line?
Right. And the only argument is, well, then let's make it so you can go wherever the hell you want, because then that creates an artificial need for competition. By schools being part of the government, it's just, hey, it is what it is. Take it or you go to jail.
You're stealing, right to jail. Glasses, you right to jail.
Now, if there's a good school and a crappy school, well, the crappy school is not going to get any government money unless they get people to come to their school. Competition
could be a solution.
I think so. And I mean, I haven't really heard super deep discussions about exactly how it would work. So I'm sure there's ways that it would, that I wouldn't want it to work. But in principle, I don't see how it could be anything bad. Don't make sense.
Yeah.
The government had everything under control.
Right. Let's dive back in here.
History being rewritten, but AP European history.
What was he even responding to?
They're calling white people devils.
Yeah, they're calling white people devils. So I have to switch the conversation over to AP history.
That should not be.
You think this is more important as a problem than AP Black history being rewritten, but AP European history being left alone, just the way that it is right now. Just you know what I mean by being rewritten.
No, like give me an example. I don't know what you're talking about.
They pulled out very.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, again, just the assumption that that everybody knows what you're talking about when you don't even know who Marianne Williamson was. She ran for president twice.
I know. How did he not know that? And she's liberal. Like, isn't she? Yeah, she's Democrat.
Yep.
Place them with scholars that they
Even
thought
I know that.
Black people to learn from, meaning that they were more conservative
But
scholars.
who did it?
DeSantis had a commission of people that worked on this. So they actually worked on attacking those specific standards, and they left all the other ones whole. So they left the European standards and everything just the way that they were. So if you're a white kid and you're in Florida, you can go and get that, and it's just the way it's supposed to be.
And I think my first question would be, okay, how was the AP Black history to begin with?
Gay, totally gay.
Because if I had to guess, it was probably some super woke, activist who came in and did all of the stuff that all this CRT stuff that we're talking about. And then we're like, whoa, what is this? Dylan says, I want to ask this clown about gang violence and black on black crime. He would very quickly shift the conversation to something else. I'm so sure. I can't stand people who do that. Can't stand it.
The issue is
so with black kids,
right? What we end up seeing
it's just different.
So this is an egregious example that we can easily pull up because it's easily discernible to the average person why it's wrong, illegal, and shouldn't be allowed in schools. And then we end up with our things like Kimberly Crenshaw and Derek Bell, where many people aren't familiar with their writings, which I also believe should not be allowed in grade school curriculum. If schools want to teach CRT in a broad sense of this is what CRT is, totally fine. I don't think that's appropriate for kids. But this was the game that
you don't think it's appropriate for kids to learn a major, whether I agree with it or not.
Nope.
I don't even want to say.
Nope.
But to learn major thought systems.
Major. What do you mean?
I mean, like, even but I have no problem with my kids.
It's funny on this.
I guess it depends.
You want your kid to be learning Marxism as the details of Marxism before, right? It's like, say it. I mean, it's so obvious that you're pushing all of this in a certain direction, saying that it's not happening till it gets far enough that you can't say it's not happening anymore, and then you say no, it is happening, but it's good that it's happening, and you're a bigot for saying that it shouldn't happen.
Oh yeah, this is how people argue nowadays. I've learned very quickly. If you say this, you're a bad Christian. If you say this, you're a bad you're whatever it is.
Yep. And that's
People
all.
can't have like a cogent argument. It's like it just resorts to kind of like name calling or sort of inadvertently saying you're racist or saying you're,
Oh, I don't know how inadvertent it is.
Today, I responded to Krasenstein posted something that said that
Krasenstein sisters.
Yeah, one of them. I mean, they've been nice to me. I understand their philosophies and whatnot. They're somewhat respectful, I guess, but the people that follow them are like complete idiots sometimes. And so he posted, I think, a screenshot of an article that said, that Trump is a R word, and I said, well, that's actually he didn't get charged, or he wasn't held liable for that, and he wasn't charged for that. And so if you're going to say something, then just say the truth, which is that that's not what it was. It was something else. And the people on there are, oh, are you just like an R-word apologist, an essay apologist?
Yes.
What? I'm just actually telling you truth. Like, instead of coming with a cogent argument saying, well, you could look at it as this because of this, they don't do that. It's like automatically, oh, well, I guess you're an essay person. Like,
yep. It's just on or off. You like good thing or you like bad thing?
Things good.
Yeah.
You like good thing or you bad thing? That's the entirety of the left-wing platform. I like good thing. You like bad thing. So I'm on the right side of history.
Like, even like, I'm not a Marxist, but I have no problem with my.
See, I'm not a Marxist. He's saying I'm not bad thing.
Aren't you though?
I'm not bad thing, but I want everybody to learn the Marxist ways.
Yep. Sad. Yeah, just like I'm on the phone saying, I believe it.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is true.
We're not going to have we're not going to have a 6th grade philosophy of Marxist thought class.
Headshot.
If you want it in high school, start getting into this stuff. They can. I have no problem with 6th graders learning about how Marx was influential in the Soviet Union if they're doing social studies and history. But to sit down and go through the nuances of critical theory, gender theory, race theory with 5th and 6th graders, I'm like a little bit. And this was the woke.
Well, and not even touching on the fact that like this might be just too much for a fucking kid. When are they learning to read? Didn't we just? It was when Candace was on the Breakfast Club. And 40% of adult black males can't read past like a 6th grade level or something.
Wow.
Coming here, my co-host, and like that is the type of thing that you want to be focusing on. But no, we just we need to worry about 5th and 6th graders learning about Marxism. That's gonna fix it.
Yeah, that's wild.
Insane.
Argument. The left said no one thinks college level legal classes should be taught to children. And then we're going, that's not what they're doing. Now, the problem is conservatives tend to be reactionary.
I thought he was going to go through the whole thing. If that's not happening, well, that's only happening a little bit. Okay, it is happening, but that's a good thing. Every single time. Every single time.
And so what you get is people who don't actually know the deeper layers of what's going on. They didn't know it's not critical race theory in schools. It's critical race praxis in schools. Praxis, for instance, is what should be banned. That's when and
I love the critical race applied principles. Critical race. It's crap.
It's crap. Pure, unadulterated crap.
Yeah.
But that was such a big argument as well that when there was a lot of parents going to the school board meetings and like, oh, I don't want this, CRT this, and then lefties would just be like, it's not even CRT. CRT is a college level legal. Like, okay, great, fine. So then whatever the fuck this is, people don't want it.
Yeah.
And they just it's right over their head. But it's not CRT. You said CRT. It's not CRT.
Right.
I'm one of us that don't need people literate. Just need them to do and vote how we say.
Comply immediately. Bingo.
Yep. I gotta run, guys. I gotta go get some dinner with my boyfriend. But I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'm going to be on Tim Pool's show in IRL on Wednesday. So tune in. He was talking today about how YouTube is coming for him and they're going to be in their new studio. So hopefully they'll talk about that because then I'll be able to like talk about something. If they get too deep into politics, I'm always asking you questions. So, but I will also recommend you to Lisa, the booker for Culture War, if you ever want to do it.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. Do you cover it almost every week?
Not really.
No?
Sometimes because of the I need to have space to comment, and sometimes it's just like a really good tight conversation that like they cover it all. So I don't cover it as much as I would like to, but
but you know how it goes. So
Oh, yeah.
I had never even really.
I listened to all of them.
When I went on it, I hadn't gone on it, so I hadn't listened to it. I listened to like IRL all the time, but anyway, I will recommend you because I think you should go on it. And they like do everything.
That would be sick.
They fly you out, book you. Yeah, I'll do my best, and I'll send you her page on X so that you can follow her. But
I already follow her.
You know who she is. Okay. Yep. I'll tell her who you are. All right. Well, thanks for letting me join in and interrupt you guys. Thanks to your chat.
And
I'll try to join the Discord sometime. I know, and you gifted me a membership, so thank you.
Yeah, there you go. And so, guys, I dropped the link to her channel in the chat. Please go check her out. She's got her hands in so many different areas of this this industry. It's so cool. Anything else you want to tell the people? The floor is yours. Where can they find you?
They can just find me. I'm Little Miss Jacob everywhere, or Influences on YouTube. And thanks for having me and teaching me all the YouTubey things. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Everybody put Little Miss Jacob in the chat. Thank you so very much for joining us. You have a good one.
See ya.
Take care. All right, so hey, we might gotta watch. We might have to have a watch party on Wednesday. We're gonna see if my name gets mentioned. I don't know. Especially if Ian's there and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was on his podcast. That guy is awesome." Thank you. Yeah, there we go. Well, MJ, Indie Film Sub, gang, Streamception. Fingers crossed. Awesome. All right, so thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.